Hello and welcome to this modified 5-3-1 workout series. Over the course of this series, I will present 5 modified 5-3-1 workouts. But before we get started, normally I start with the training goal. Now I want to start with my goal because, as the title of the series suggests, I want to modify, not regurgitate. And I've made it very clear on every single program. So there is a modification of the original 5-3-1. And there is also a resource list you will get at the end, which I have used to modify this program. And modify means, if someone would ask me, how would you do it with the information you have available through the resource list? How would you do that 5-3-1 program? So, in essence, I want to apply my thought process. It's not meant to criticize the program by any stretch of imagination, but it's certainly not to regurgitate. If you want to have the original 5-3-1 program, Jim Wendler has done a perfect job doing it, creating it, so go. The question is, if I would do it, what would I do differently, and how would I modify it if you'd ask me? Also in that resource list, you will find places where you can download the original 5-3-1 program. So 5-3-1, what is it? I mentioned the name Jim Wendler and he has written a book or two. It's one of the most popular strength training programs, and that is what I meant in the beginning. No criticism, because if it wouldn't be a good program, it wouldn't be popular. And it's from Jim Wendler. So the training goal of the program, to the best of my knowledge, it's building strength. It has some elements of hypertrophy in it. The training variables, if you look at the training intensity, it's from 65% to 95% of the 1RM. But to be really correct, it's based on a 90% of the actual 1RM. So essentially it's 58.5 and 85.5. So a bit lower than the range. So repetition range 1 to 6 for the main exercises, and then for the assistant exercises can go up to 50. Not 50 in one set, but 50 total repetitions, so 10 or more. Training exertion is light to maximum. The training effort is a maximum effort and a repeated effort. The exercises. So the original 5-3-1 has, as the main exercises, is centered around the squat, the deadlift, the bench press and the military press. Then there are push assistant exercises. These are dips, push-ups, dumbbell bench press, dumbbell incline bench press and dumbbell overhead press. Then there are pull assistant exercises. So these are your pull-ups or chin-ups, the barbell rows, the dumbbell rows, the lat pull-downs and the face pull. And then there is the single-legged and core assistant exercises. Lunges, Bulgarian split squat, ab wheel rollouts, hanging leg raises, planks and back raises. The exercise order goes from heavy compound to lighter assistant exercises. And the original program, there are variations of it, but the original program looks a little bit like this. So in week number 1, you do 3 sets of 5. The first set is with 65%, the second is with 75%, and the last one with 85%. But then if you break it down to the percentage being 9, based on the 90%, it's 59, 69, 77. So in week number 2, you do 3 sets of 70, 3 sets of 80, 3 sets of 90, and then always the last set is taken to M-rep, as many reps as possible. What you see here in brackets is then, again, the intensity normalized. And then in the last week, you do 5 reps at 75%, 3 reps at 85%, and 1 rep at 95% before you go into your deload week in week number 4, which is 5 of 40%, 5 at 50%, and 5 at 60%. Then there is this so-called boring but big. Boring but big means if you do a back squat as the main exercise, then you follow up with 5 sets of 10 in the same exercise after that. So meaning you would do, for example, in the first set, you have 3 sets of 5 at the given intensity. Then you go back to 60% and you do 5 sets of 10 repetitions for the boring but big. And then the assistant lifts is done for 25 to 50 total repetitions. So now the question is, what is going to be modified? What will I modify? I'm going to modify the exercise selection. The main lifts I keep the same, but basically sometimes it'll be modified. The intensities are certainly modified. So the main lifts and the assistant lifts, I modify the intensity slightly. The loading scheme, I want to use more kind of a plateau loading rather than the step loading. So you could see 5 at 65, 5 at 75, 5 at 85. That's the so-called step loading. The plateau loading would be 3 sets of 5 at the same intensity. And then the reps at the assistant lifts are also modified because I think the general do 25 to 50, I would do it differently. So before we close, I promised you the resource list. Here it is. It's probably a little bit hard to read. It's 21 resources. You will find the resource list in the description so you can download it. So what are the next steps? Number 1, you stay tuned for the following workouts. Number 2, you like and subscribe. If you want to grab all previous workouts, you can go here. If you want to watch the previous workout, you have a chance. And if you have not subscribed, this is your last chance before we hop off. I see you with the first modified 5-3-1 workout in the next video.